YouTube, what is going on? It is Gino Bonino. Welcome, guys, to my channel. I hope everybody's doing well, everybody's happy and healthy and wise and not freaking out too much. I'll tell you, been in a lot of different situations. This is definitely a first. I've got a daughter, and she coined it perfectly. She says, "Dad, this is like being in a movie," and she hit the nail on the head. This is very strange. But again, one thing I will say, and this is going to be my little soapbox moment, if you will, a test of a person's character is how they conduct themselves when there's a crisis. And what I mean by that is if you're a stingy person or somebody who hoards, I think that kind of indicates your personality. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I get it. Everybody, they want to get theirs. They have to worry about their family first. But there's a way to do that to where you can leave some for the next person. You don't have to completely fill up a crate full of toilet paper, stuff that's going to last you 6 months. That's crazy. And for that reason, again, I have been through a riot. I've been through 2 earthquakes that are major and 2 hurricanes. And I can tell you that that's when I see people come out of their house to help. That's when I see people offering their goods and services for no charge. I know last time we had a hurricane, we had a ton of ice because we had a freezer and a generator, and that managed to keep things cold. And we had a ton of ice, and we gave it away. We gave it to people that needed to keep their diabetic medicine cold and stuff like that. And I'm not patting myself on the back. I'm just saying that's kind of the attitude that we need to have now during this time of crisis. Having said that, this community, this comic book community, is like that. You'll see somebody sick, somebody depressed, somebody that's lost their collection or had an emergency or something, and people stand up to help them sight unseen. Don't know this person from Adam, yet they'll do things like to help them. And I'm not saying this community isn't like that. I'm just saying to continue that, make sure and be kind to other people. Everybody's on edge. Everybody's stressed out, freaking out. Now's a good time just to bring the temperature down and just chill and try to help out again your fellow man. I do know once again that if everybody kind of keeps a calm head, if everybody does what they need to do and helps their neighbor, we'll get through this just fine. It'll be okay. And again, we're going to get a handle on this. I mean, bottom line is it's a bad virus, yes, but it's like a bad flu. And the flu kills a bunch of people every year. You don't hear about that. It's not as publicized. I think this just had people completely freaked out. And again, I know it's weird when you see big cities like San Francisco and New York shutting down. It's just kind of a weird thing, something that we haven't ever seen before. So there we go. That's my 2 seconds. I'm now going to get off my soapbox and we'll go to what you're here for, which is what I jokingly call comic porn. What I mean is, when you're stuck inside, sometimes there's nothing more fun than just go look at your collection, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. These are books that I've collected over the last couple months, again, that I haven't had a chance to integrate, to put away. And for that reason, I want to show them to you and tell you why I got it and kind of what's going on in the book and make you decide if it's something you want to get as well. I will say that most of this stuff is auction winnings. One thing that's kind of cool, I hope it doesn't burn itself out with YouTube, is you'll see an auction go on just about every day. Nice thing about auctions is you can usually get stuff that supports the community. I mean, if you're buying from somebody, there's no middleman. You're not lining eBay's pockets. You're not lining PayPal's pockets. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean that's the way it is. Your money's, if you do it right, go friends and family, somebody you trust, your money's going straight from you to them without, again, any middleman. It's not like you got to pay for a convention table and all that. It's just a nice, clean way to conduct transactions. And it helps out everybody. The person, hopefully, that sold the book, even though you may not be getting top dollar for it, if you're making a profit, you should be happy. I bought it for $50, I sold it for $55. Big deal, $5. It was in my possession. I enjoyed it while I had it, but now I sold it. I think that's the attitude that most people adopt. You can't stay up at night just because you don't get maximum GPA out of it. That's crazy. It's not always going to happen. Also, GPAs can be manipulated through buying and selling and stuff like that. So again, get what the market is willing to pay for it, be satisfied with it, and just go from there. That's kind of my saying. And as a consumer, as a buyer, you can get stuff that you can't find anywhere else. I have 2 comic book stores here in my town, and I can't find Blue Marvel. I can't find a lot of this stuff that gets put up. So for that reason, again, it's a win-win situation to support auctions. It's important that people are trustworthy, honest. There seems to be a lot of that going on, and again, it's great. So let's get down to business at hand. The first thing I'm going to show are some slabs. This actually is not a, this was an eBay purchase. It wasn't an auction, just because you don't see a lot of them go up on auction because it's not worth all that much. But I'm buying as many as I can get, just simply because the movie is coming. I've got a ton of these raw, but to be honest with you, I'm afraid if I send them in, they've got just tiny little dings, probably something that a normal book you could press out, but this is a little bit more difficult, simply because it's a cardstock cover and a foil cover. You still can press those, but it's just a pain in the ass. So to be honest, what I did is I bought this, found it for a good buy it now price. The person probably had a few of them, wanted to move them, so he gave a bargain basement price. So I snapped it up. Spider-Man 2099, 9.8 white pages, of course, great book. Again, one of those that's probably gonna go up in the next year or so, depending on what happens with the movie. This, however, was an auction win from Pressing Extraordinaire Erod. This is Avengers number 8, First King the Conqueror, as we know him, basically in his costume. Idea being that the Loki movie coming out possibly is going to have some time dimensional stuff, back, forth, etc. And King, that's kind of his thing. So again, the spec on this is that's going to that he'll be a major player. If he's not, the price for a 4.0 is fairly reasonable. It's not going to break the bank, so I went ahead and jumped at it. I didn't have it raw, and I can't afford it in 9.6 in a near mint, so I decided to do this. One thing I will say about my guideline for buying books is this: if shit hits the fan, let's say I do need money, can I get out of it what I put into it? If the answer is yes, I'll usually jump on a book no matter how expensive it is, just because it's something that I want to look at, want to have, want to play the spec game on it. But if it doesn't hit, big deal. I can usually get back what I invested in it, and that's kind of where I went on this. So again, King number 8, Avengers number 8, First King the Conqueror, as we know him. A little bit of controversy whether he's a Fantastic Four or a Avengers 8. I say Avengers 8 because that's him as we know him. That's him in his first, in his real outfit. This is Doc Savage number 1. Real nice copy. Certainly presents to me better than an 8.0. Got this from Sasquatch, also via their auction that they have on Tuesday before the New York Warriors. He had 1, 2, and 3. 2 and 3 aren't pressed. 1 is. So I went ahead and jumped. Again, beautiful book. Beautiful book. I mean, again, show me where that's an 8.0. I just don't get it. I mean, it's beautifully bright colors. I probably have to look at the notes to see what might be a fingerprint or something weird on it. But it certainly looks like better than 8.0. This was an eBay buy. Don't have this book, and I just didn't want to fart around with raw copies. It's a black cover, both front and back. So it's an easy book to, get 9.2, 9.4, just over a little something stupid, little fingerprint, a couple pieces of dust or whatever. So went ahead and bought it, 9.6, got a good price on it. So there you go. Got this from Comically Flawed Adam, my buddy, lives just down the street. Actually a little bit farther, but one stayed over. Got one of these, now I got 2. Kind of got burned a little bit when Lobo was getting teased for the Krypton series, and then he came and actually was one of the best things with the series, and then they got canceled. But he was good, and I think he would do real well in a movie. His attitude, being kind of like a biker dude, I think a lot of people would relate to. I think it's got a good crossover. So this is a good book just for a long-term hold. hang on to it, see what happens. This is Omega Men 3 for those of you that don't know. First Lobo. Looks a lot different. Right up there. Looks a lot different than he does now. Wears black, and again, basically he's a biker dude. And kind of a hard ass, sort of like a Wolverine attitude, take no prisoners sort of thing. Got this also dirt cheap as an auction. Second print, Amazing Spider-Man 4. Again, it was part of an auction. Took a stab. There was a bunch of other books. It was part of a lot, so this came along with. And again, just a cool book. Got this from Barbarian Kung Fu. This is Amazing Spider-Man. What number is this? 17. Second appearance of Green Goblin. I definitely want to get 18, which is first appearance, but so if anybody, or is it 8? 8 or 18? Must be 8, because this is 17. Sorry, I should know that. But anyway, second appearance. It's got the great artwork, great JJ down in the bottom, Human Torch, who paired up a whole lot with Spider-Man at the very beginning. But again, love this book, 4.0. That's kind of my, again, to me, 4, 5, 5.5. Even though the 9.8 fiends hate that kind of stuff, I like it. To me, it just opens the door for more people to be able to afford it if you do have to sell it on down the road. You have a 9.8 Spider-Man 300. That's a great book to have. But good luck selling it for GPA because there's so many out there, and that's kind of expensive. I mean, if you think a couple $1,000s for that, somebody can put that same money into a nice Silver Age book. Often they'll do that. So what happens sometimes, the GPA will overjump the affordability of a book, and then it kind of just stays stagnant for a while. And I think that's what happens to a lot of your higher priced books. This is New Titans number 2 at an 8.5. Basically, I just wanted a copy of this. This is first Deathstroke, as you see in the background in shadow on cover. And again, a great book. The one that goes with this, I think, is, 50 or 55, something like that, where you also see him on the front out of shadow. But again, just a great book. Glad I got it, and it's a newsstand copy to boot. Got this from Needmo Comics and Movies. It's a Fantastic Four annual number 6. What is this? First Annihilus. And again, he's another one talked about as possible coming into the MCU, just on the road, being the next big baddie. We'll see what happens. And my last slab got this from Roman, New Mutants 98, first Death Pool, and at a 9.4. The issue with this book is if you look on Cable's face, you'll see a black streak down it. That is a production error. Otherwise, the book is minty fresh. The corners are square and it's beautiful, but it has that. And again, the weird thing is, some production issues they look past and they forgive, like clipped corners, things like that. But this apparently they couldn't look past, so they dinged it 0.4. Next, I'll show you some toys. Got these from Roman. These are the KB exclusives, which the cool thing about these books, these action figures, is they came with the comic book. And the comic book in a lot of places, in a lot of instances, are worth taking out if they're in really good condition and getting them slabbed all by themselves, just because they're a low print book. This comes with 301, and this is kind of the McFarlane version of Spider-Man. They also were sold at, I want to say, KB and what else? KB and I forget, but there were 2 places that sold them. Probably the same company, just under a different, under the same umbrella, just different companies. This is Scarlet Spider, and this is has the Web of Spider-Man 118, which is his first full appearance. Again, a cool cool action figure to have, but the comic book and back is what makes it, to me, worth collecting. And then the biggie is Spider-Man 2099, which has the white covered first issue like I showed at the beginning. And this one, if you can get in a 9/8, is an extremely rare book, because what happens, unfortunately, is these have a tendency where this attaches to the bubble. These have a tendency to get bend either in or back, which then bends the book and leaves a nice nasty old spine tick on it. If you got a spine tick on it, you don't press it out, you're probably looking at about anywhere from an 8.5 down. That's kind of the reason why you look for this one. These are expensive. These are hard to come by. People asking anywhere from about $300 to $1,000, depending on the condition of the box. So it's crazy. But what a lot of people do, again, is pull the book, get the book graded. If the book grades 9/8, you get your money back plus. So now there was also a Venom figure that went along with this. That's extremely rare. It's got a Venom and then a Venom 1 lethal protector, and that's worth getting. Next, some raw books. Batman 181, first Poison Ivy. This is a beat up copy, but it's just kind of cool to have one. Again, old vintage Batman, worth having. Cool book. Probably about a 1.0. This one does not have the fold out, the centerfold, the pin up. But again, it's just still a cool book. Can still tell what it is. It's attached, but just barely. So again, got it at a decent price. Found this one on eBay. This one I've showed on Instagram. $251. First Joker in kind of modern continuity. And Adam Hughes art. Again, just an iconic cover. Was very, very lucky to find this. It's, again, you can see there's a couple pretty nasty spine ticks near the DC logo, but nothing that's god awful. I mean, again, this book, I was lucky to find it for what I did. What happened is somebody's grandfather passed, and he was selling the guy was selling his books, and he wasn't a comic person. So he just kind of put a arbitrary price on it, and it was a very good price for a buy it now. And I jumped on it. I was there probably 5 minutes after it got sent. Last one, I got this via mail order. Marvel Premiere number 10. Cool Doctor Strange. We'll see what happens with this with the Doctor Strange movie. Next, another auction win. Amazing Spider-Man 252. First Hobgoblin. This does have tattoos. 252, first black costume, or tied first black costume, and then also a newsstand, and also a kind of a cover homage to Amazing Fantasy 15. Cool book to have. Spider-Man number 1, first Silk, or first Cindy Moon, who becomes Silk. She actually becomes Silk down in that Spider-Man number 4 that I showed you earlier. But this is first her as civilian. Amazing Spider-Man Annual 16, first Monica Rambeau as Captain Marvel. And as we know, we saw her in the first Captain Marvel movie, so we know that she's going to be definitely have some, be something. Deathlock, this is Astonishing Tales number 26, second appearance of Deathlock, and actually, it's first Man-Wolf. I thought Man-Wolf was in Spider-Man, I think 124, if memory serves me, but maybe it's, I don't know, but this is listed as first Man-Wolf. When I bought this, it had a sticker right where my finger is there. And you can see, unfortunately, the sticker, when I removed it, it had already done a little damage. It took off some of the white, but it didn't take it all the way off. It certainly looks better than it did with a big old sticker on it. But again, sometimes what happens is when you put a sticker on there, and it stays on for 10, 20 years, the glue is going to merge with the cover, with the luster of the cover, and it's going to pull off no matter what you do. So what your decision then is, do I want to just leave it and let it be a sticker, or do I want to try to remove it? I decided it looked better this way, so that's kind of why I removed it. Avengers 227, this is where the Monica Rambeau as Captain Marvel joins the Avengers. This is Avengers Surrender. 676. This is the first full Voyager, and also the first Lethal Legion and first Lethal Legion versus the Black Order, Thanos' little group of thugs. The reason this book may show some heat coming up is because there's a video game coming out on the PS4, and I think the main villains, the main bad guys, are going to be the Lethal Legion. So keep an eye on this book. If you see it cheap, there's a 1 in 25. That's a really good one to get. If you see this, I would pick it up just because when that video game comes out, I think it's going to be a really good video game. I've seen screenshots and things like that on my PlayStation. I'm a member of the thing, and it shows certain screenshots and whatnot. It looks worth checking out. Batman, the New 52. This is the first cameo of Bluebird, newsstand version. And then second, issue 2, first Talon. This one was hot for a minute. This is Batman 363 Noctura. We'll see what happens. Apparently going to be in the TV series. Batman 475, Renee Montoya from the movie that was just out, the Harley Quinn movie. Just picked this up a week ago. Batman 638. First, Jason Todd reveals himself to be the Red Hood. You can see his reflection in the helmet right there. And I really like reflection covers. Basically, what started in Hulk 340. Hulk 340 kind of made me really like that as kind of a little subgenre of covers, and so I buy them when I see them. This is something to keep an eye on, guys. This is Earth 1, Batman Earth 1. And the reason I say this, it's getting a little bit of spec that the movie kind of follows this. It's actually a 2-book trade paperback story. It never came out in softcover or comic book form. The only exception is this, which was a giveaway. Was given away at the movie Black Knight Rises. But there's some chatter that the movie's going to follow it, because this kind of is Batman during the beginning of his superhero career, if you will. He's still new to stuff. Stuff still has that kind of gritty steampunk look to it, and this is kind of what goes on here. So this book is dirt cheap. You can find it all over the place, probably in dollar bins. But if you're going to get one in good shape, because there are so many of them. But again, I would definitely think about looking at this if you see them cheap. The trade paperback that goes along with it looks like this. There's 1 and 2. Your volume 1 and volume 2, and basically, once again, this kind of follows. I have a feeling I could see some characteristics in the thing that makes me feel that it's possible that the movie follows a lot with this storyline. Last is 609, Batman 609, which is, again, first Hush, Thomas Elliott. Just kind of a cool story, recent story. Of course, I got the obligatory Batman 89, and then the second print, first print, second print. You can see the difference is really the ground. Ground is red on the first print, on the second print, and not red in the first. And then cover B, the Matina cover, for the same thing. Now I look and it's 24 minutes, guys, so I'm going to stop there. I'm going to show 2 more things. Be patient. The last thing is the reason I made this video. It's something I got, and I think it's the coolest thing on earth. First, I dug these up out. I don't know if a lot of people have seen these. Marvel Masterpiece cards. They're sealed box, 39, I think, packs. These are the ones that were kind of the realistic, almost have a, how, sort of, again, just a very realistic feel to them. And then these were the Marvel Masterpiece Fleer ones. Same kind of thing, sealed box. I've got actually a few of those. I ordered them and never really opened them. And this is what I just got, and this is kind of the reason that I'm showing this. Found this on eBay, put in a snipe bid, and ended up getting it. This was kind of a tag along. This went with it. This is a San Diego Comic-Con 2018 exclusive. Hot Wheels. When I was a kid, I collected Hot Wheels and comics. So when you combine the two things, kind of like cool. It's like peanut butter and chocolate, if you know what I'm talking about. So what you got here is the Thanos copter, and it's sort of stuck in the Tesseract. I didn't even open it. It's got a seal on it because this isn't what I wanted, but this was a kind of a tag along. What I wanted was this. This was also a 2018 San Diego Comic-Con, and I can't wait to show you what this is. This was an exclusive, sold only at the con. I don't know what the production run was, but it sold out in an hour. And it's hard to get your hands on them. You can find them on eBay, but they're crazy, 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 crazy expensive. It is a reproduction of Action Comics #1. It's got the actual car, the green car, and that's the Hot Wheels car. You could, if you wanted to take it out and use it as a Hot Wheels car, you could do that. But why would you? It's got Superman lifting it. Again, it repeats the Action Comics #1 cover. It's a swipe of it. You've got the dude, frantic dude in the front, and then the woman with their child in the back. That's what it looks like right there. And again, this was released, I think Hot Wheels was 50 years old, and Action Comics was 80. If you remember, also not too long ago, the 1000 issue came out, and again, very, very cool. And that is it, guys. That is my video. I got a great price on these two things together. I got this for less than what this normally sells for. So again, I couldn't help but pick it up. But this is going to, next time you see this is going to be back here. This is something that I've been trying to get a hold of for a while, and it's very, very cool. So that's it. Guys, thanks for watching. Once again, I'm going to stop there. I've got a ton more books, but I'm going to do that in another video. 28 minutes is enough blabber for a while. Gino Bonino, guys, take care of yourself. Take care of everybody else. Happy hunting. I'll talk to you later, guys. Bye for now. Peace.